mega enforcement directorate crackdown in Hyderabad. According to sources, another crypto exchange is basically under the scanner. Action has been taken by the Hyderabad ED. In fact, this is the highest asset that has been seized so far of any crypto exchange. In fact, we are given to understand a total of over 300 crores. That's the amount that has been seized by the Enforcement Directorate. Let me just quickly put out the details that we have got right now with regards to the action that has been taken by the Enforcement Directorate. In fact, ED has frozen 370 crore of another crypto exchange. Now, this comes just days after the Enforcement Directorate had basically taken action on 5th of August when they had basically frozen the bank balance of, I'll just put out the details right now. In fact, this was the searches that were basically carried out on one of the directors of Zanmai Lab Private Limited, which owns the popular cryptocurrency exchange Wazir X, and has issued a freezing order to freeze the bank balances to the tune of 64 crore rupees. Remember, that was on 5th of August, but this is the highest ever crypto asset that has now been seized by the Enforcement Directorate. We are given to understand 370 crore. That's right, the amount that has been frozen from the crypto exchange. What we do not know at this point in time is that which specific crypto exchange is it whose assets have now been frozen by the Enforcement Directorate. But this comes just very close to another action that was just taken on 5th of August that was connected to Wazirex. In fact, searches were also carried out. As of now, we are being told that the Enforcement Directorate is basically carrying out a money laundering investigation against a number of Indian NBFC companies and their fintech partners for what they are calling it predatory lending practices in violation of the RBI guidelines, and by using telecallers who misuse personal data, use abusive language to extort high interest rates from the loan takers. In fact, there is also a Chinese link that has basically emerged because most of these fintech companies are backed by their Chinese funds and they could not get any NBFC license from RBI. So how does this crypto exchange essentially work, and how is it that they have been supporting these fintech companies that have been backed by the Chinese? It turns out that during the pandemic, in fact, we're given to understand multiple of these instant loan apps were basically floated by these fintech companies which had signed MOUs with the NBFCs. But the moment the cases were basically registered, they had wrapped up. But what happened is, thereafter, the proceeds of crime, the money that they basically made by these loan apps, were basically being diverted into these crypto exchanges. Let me bring in my colleague and our executive editor, Niranjan. Niranjan, this is by far the highest seizure that has been made by the Enforcement Directorate in a crypto exchange related investigation. 370 crore is what we are given to understand the amount that has been frozen by the Enforcement Directorate, action that has been taken by the Enforcement Directorate in Hyderabad.
Shawan, I think, you've been breaking details of it and you have the full details of the crackdown, and I think in a short while from now, the Enforcement Directorate should be able to give out a full formal press release. But, what is very, very alarming, Shawan, just today, UN has said that India's population, 7.3% of India's population owned digital currency in 2021. And just look at, the alarming aspect of it. 7%, over 7% of India's population owns digital currency. Saying that the use of cryptocurrency has risen globally, especially during the COVID pandemic. But in India, we have seen so many questions arise around cryptocurrency and crypto exchange. Now, recently you saw what happened in the case of Wazirex. You reported about it. The ED froze about 64 crore of crypto exchange Wazirex for assisting in money laundering. So it's become an easy tool to launder money. And the Enforcement Directorate, which you cover very closely, said last week that it froze 64.67 crore worth of bank deposits in one of India's most prominent cryptocurrency exchange, Wazirex, as part of an ongoing money laundering investigation against some fraud smartphone-based loan dishing apps which were backed by Chinese funds. Now, there are many questions that arise about how these cryptocurrency exchanges work. Uh, where do they get their money from? How do they launder money? And how they, in the garb of being digital currency, use illegal methods and means to move monies out of India. And this is insane because 370 370 crore of assets have now been seized from one single operator alone. Now, we don't have the names of the operator. We should be able to get more of it. But imagine how many people, Shawan, like I said, 7% of India, it's 7% of India. And 7% of India's population is, 1 out of 150 crore. That would roughly mean about 10 crore. Anywhere between 7 to 10 crore. If 7 to 10 crore Indians own, a cryptocurrency, can you imagine the disaster that it's now going to cause if at all monies have been used or misused? And what happens, if many people have been cheated, cryptocurrency is plummeting around the world. There's a global decline in the value of cryptocurrency. So I think this story is going to blow up, Shawan, and you have some more details on it. We'll wait and watch and see where the story goes. But this is the highest crypto asset seen so far. The fact that Hyderabad is now emerging as a hub tells you a story. We will have to see whether just companies were involved, or maybe political parties were involved, or companies operating for political parties were involved. I think the story is going to get much bigger.
Well, thank you very much, Niranjan. We'll be tracking the story very closely. This undoubtedly is the highest ever asset that has been frozen by the Enforcement Directorate when it comes to the crypto exchanges. In fact, perhaps later in the day, we'll also be putting out details of which crypto exchange was it and whose assets that have been frozen. Let's move on to